Now that the plaque had been unveiled, another traditional way of recording a royal visit was observed, by the signing of the visitor's book. Experienced in these matters, the Duke checked to make sure that the book was the right way up. He even wanted to know who was the last person to sign in. It was now time for the Duke to set off on his walking tour, collecting a pair of ear protectors on the way. The royal visitor was being given a real working view of the plant, as the new press shop continued with the production of high-volume body components. Moving on down the line, the first person to meet the Duke on the shop floor was Jim Clay, a member of the Inspection and Quality Control Department. He explained to the royal visitor the functions of the inspection fixture in relation to the statistical process control chart, which was located nearby. The tour party then moved across to the production line, where 5 presses convert flat blanks into finished components. The line was explained to His Royal Highness by Ian Carrington of the Automation Engineering Division, who was responsible for programming the software of the line. The Duke was interested to hear that the component being produced was for the new Austin Rover model and had the code name R8. So interested, in fact, that he turned back to Ian Carrington with another question. He then heard how the concept of the line became a practical reality when he met Alan Tate, the engineering manager of the Pressings and Assembly Division, and Mike Goddard and Norman Beach, 2 of the other people responsible for its success. Waiting for a royal visitor can be a tension-packed time. It wasn't too long a wait, however, and Prince Philip soon had a word with Colin Hunt, Richard Humphreys, and former apprentice Eddie Myatt, who is now responsible for the tryout of new dies on this line. An interesting feature of the new line was the blank loader, which obviously caught the Duke's attention. Again, it was searching questions from the Prince, this time to Ernie Jenks, watched by some of the people from the Automation and Pressings Division. The Lord Lieutenant of Shropshire and the Chief of Police found something to talk about too. But the crowd weren't going to be allowed to play a passive role. The Duke had a few questions for them. He wanted to talk about what he'd seen up to this stage of his visit. Cameras and answers were both at the ready. Just another of the touches which turn a formal visit into an informal one. As the tour party moved from the new press shop of tomorrow to the press shop of today, Alan Mace was telling His Royal Highness about the die loaders. Then they paused to take a look at floor member rear panels coming off the end of a traditional 108-inch line. In this section, the first stop was to see the loading of blanks into the 144-inch line. It was explained to Prince Philip how the putting on of dope assists the flow of metal through the double-action draw die. He was also told about this new machine under development, which will automatically apply drawing compound and load blanks into the press. On the other side of the gangway, the Duke was interested in the large number of production employees. He asked if the improvements would affect job prospects, and he was reassured to learn that the company's rapid expansion meant that recruitment of staff would be an ongoing program. The walkabout then continued between the 2 lines. The Duke was able to observe not only the 108-inch line on his left, but also the 144-inch line, which was producing 3-door quarter inner panels for Saab. There was a time when all work stopped during a royal visit, but Prince Philip prefers to see industry as it is every day in production. During his walkabout, the questions which he continually asks reflect the interest and knowledge of manufacturing which he obviously has. During this part of the tour, the Duke even wanted to know where Stadco buys its steel, and he was even interested in knowing how the panels are packed and shipped. As the tour of the plant was drawing to its close, there was still time for a friendly nod to Stadco employees. Prince Philip continued to discuss the improvements to the manufacturing facilities of the Pressings and Assembly Division on the walk to the company's restaurant for a relaxed luncheon. The civic party and other visitors had also been able to see the improvements to the company's facilities. And for the group's employees, well, a great day. After lunch, the car carrying the Royal Standard stood ready for the Duke's departure. In still bright sunshine, His Royal Highness was escorted to the car by Richard Hall. As both the royal and civic parties prepared to leave for another engagement in Shropshire, it was obvious that the visit had been an enjoyable one. A relaxed day which had demonstrated how the close teamwork on the site had made the new extension such a success. A final word from the Duke to members of staff summed up the happiness of the occasion. As Prince Philip prepared to take his leave, it was time to reflect that for Hall Engineering Holdings and for Stadco, today was just the start of a new phase of progress. The royal visit had endorsed the importance of the new manufacturing facilities. Now there is a new challenge, to sell the increased capacity and to develop new lines for the future. With these ambitions, the royal visit is only a beginning.